like you. How do you know?
I know. The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
On my heart this morning to say that as a man, but more importantly as a black man, that this country does not deserve black women or black people, but specifically black women. This morning I woke up and I just gave my wife a hug because I know how heavy this is weighing on black women. And they have carried this country and saved this country too many times and continue to be the most disrespected human beings on the planet. And it, quite frankly, it disgusts me.
The 2024 election has taken a toll on all of us, and to be honest with you, I'm glad that it's over. But for some, it has taken a bigger toll, as you heard the mayor of Baltimore say that he laments what happened in the election. He had to hug his wife afterwards. And as you can see, there are people that are making preparations because the election didn't go a certain way, as the holidays are around the corner.
When you know someone voted that way, do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, you know, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time.
I'm thinking about the world that we're going to bring our daughter into in a few months. And I want the vice president to know that her and her team did everything right in the right way. But the unfortunate reality is that this country is still steeped in racism, sexism, and misogyny.
And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why.
I am personally proud of her. And I know that so many others are the same. We appreciate her tenacity, her focus, her decency, and how she handled herself throughout this campaign.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
The heartfelt words from Honorable Mayor Brandon Scott are nothing new from black men to black women, as you'll find a wide variety of love songs, decades of them, going back before Motown, if you will, in the 1950s and 60s, of black men emoting to, emoting about, expressing feelings for black women. You could even break them down by category. In this particular case, the eyes, as when Cameo sang the song Sparkle, the song begins, "When I first saw you, you had a sparkle in your eye, like the stars at night high in the sky." And of course, the chorus repeats, "Sparkle in your eye." Just the sight of her eyes could send you over the moon. I'm partial to Tevin Campbell's song Brown Eyed Girl, which I listened to on repeat as he sang about just seeing her beautiful brown eyes was enough to send him over the moon. But there's a clear winner when it comes to singing about the beauty of a woman's eyes.
Pretty brown eyes, you know I see you. It's a disguise the way you treat me, yeah.
When Mint Condition released the song Pretty Brown Eyes, it was a song that stayed in video and radio rotation for years.
You keep holding on to your thoughts of rejection. If you're with me, you're secure. Baby.
It was the perfect song for romance or getting into the mood, or even just the kind of song that makes you think about the girl you saw at the shop or at school, and just the look from her eyes was enough to send you, as I've said, over the moon.
You keep telling me that your time is always taken. I keep seeing you out alone,
As it was the perfect song for romance or getting into the mood, or even just the kind of song that makes you think about the girl you saw at the shop or at school, and just the look from her eyes was enough to send you, as I've said, over the moon.
baby. Listen to love, your heart is pounding with desire, waiting to be unleashed. Pretty brown eyes, you know I see you.
A beautiful song that reflects the simplicity of falling in love with someone with just the first look into their eyes.
If you're with me, you're secure. Quit breaking my heart.
I'm all for the 4B movement, but please be safe. These are the same men that say women should go back to being in the house. Same men that tweet your body my choice forever. We already have men upset in the podcast. Remind yourselves that it's single men who are more depressed than women. Now, if you take away your casual hookup, your situationship, and there are a bunch of women who just stopped dating entirely, you are going to wake up a group of angry, angry men. So I caution you, if you can get strapped up, get strapped up. If straps aren't your thing, please be cautious going out by yourselves. Go out in groups of 3 or 4. Go out with the male friend if you can. And I hate to say it, but keep an eye on your children.
Coming from an age of love songs and guys who would sing these love songs either when you're driving along the street or even singing them to a girl that you liked or you were dating, that sparkle in a woman's eyes was enough to send guys, like I said, over the moon. And one of the unfortunate casualties that I'm noticing, especially after the election, is that instead of that sparkle being in the eyes, there's something else. It's almost like a rage.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
To my liberal women who voted for Harris, no more kitty cat for moderate men. These are just Republicans pretending to be moderate because they realize that they can't get laid. No more kitty cat for men who didn't vote, and especially no kitty cat for Republicans. We can't even afford to breathe near these men at this point. If you're a woman who doesn't want children, you need to have your tubal ligation scheduled yesterday. You have 3 months. This isn't a joke. And if you're a young woman who doesn't want to have babies anytime soon, get that birth control implant that lasts for 5 years. Or an IUD. And if you're considering divorcing that man, do it now. You may not have that option. Women already have a hard time leaving their abusers. It's about to get way harder because they're coming after a no-fault divorce. If you think that women suffer at the hands of men now, you have no idea what's coming.
Now you're making ads that support undermining the very marriage that builds a country. Because marriages, families are the backbones of society. Society is what a country is made of. Campaigns encouraging wives to lie to their husbands undermine the marriage, at the very least.
There's also a write-up in Axios, and it wasn't a broad-based study of any note. There wasn't a huge data set, but divorce lawyers in Washington, D.C. were saying that they were seeing an uptick in divorces where women cite political division within the marriage as a precipitating factor of divorce. Donald Trump is tearing people apart. Donald Trump is destroying the white family.
And she cackles.
Donald Trump is tearing the white community apart. We'll
Delusion 101.
We'll see. We also.
And she's cackling. Why is that funny?
A quick shout out to Toya, who was the host of this stream. I suggest you go to her stream and watch the full video because she goes through the video from Kimberly Nicole Foster where she's kind of taking glee in the breakdown of the family because of people getting pulled apart by American politics. And in the stream, she has a lot of very riveting, deep, thought-provoking conversation. I would suggest you subscribe to her channel because she does this quite regularly. But there's a particular part in this video by Black Uru, and he speaks to the loss of that sparkle in the eye that Mint Condition is singing about, that Tevin Campbell was singing about, that romantic notion that had guys singing doo-wop songs and love songs. He speaks about the loss of that he's noticing, and not just the cost of it to Black women, but to all of us.
All right, Black Guru, you got it.
Okay. Thank you, Toya, for having me. Wonderful stream. It's a pleasure talking with you. As always, pleasure talking with the other gentlemen on the stream. And, being, I guess, listened to by the folks in the public chat. I often feel, when you have been married and you've raised daughters exclusively. Maybe I don't know if you notice as much. Maybe if you have sons, or I don't know. Not having sons, I don't know how it necessarily affects your perspective. But when you spent time around surrounded by women, women who love and care for you, and you've had to love and care for and protect, um, you you realize all the many ways in which women are special. Women are wonderful. That women add touches to things that uh, enliven life itself. Um, the presence of women, the, the ability to come in and to beautify things in a way to find beauty in an environment, to enhance the aesthetic appeal and appreciation of things. Um, Again, it's something special and unique, especially for Black women. And what saddens me when I see young women like Kim Foster, and just this overall um, mindset that has evolved, I guess, the better part of the last 60 years amongst Black women is that you all have killed your magic. You killed your the most special thing about what you are, what you can contribute, what you can do, what you can inspire of men. You destroyed it. You perverted it. You turned it into this very selfish, venal, mercenary, haughty thing. And we Black men have been diminished by it too, because what does inspire us now? You know, now we've got to create new ways and new visions, and whether it's the passport and going to find women elsewhere, other communities or whatever, because men do need that. Men have always needed that, and you know, throughout history, our women provided that. And so when I look at a woman like her, I think about the the death of the magic of Black women, and how we cannot rely on that anymore. Black men, young Black men can't rely on that anymore. And now we got to be continually suspicious of your motives, what you're doing, what you mean, who you're allied with. You know, are you going to somehow do something and going to compromise my best interests on the back end? You're going to do it for purely selfish reasons? Are you going to actually ally with white people, of all things, against me? Are you going to use the education that my grandfathers and whatever fought, bled, and died for to afford you? Are you going to use that then to compromise me, to disable me, and to ally with the very nemesis that put us in bonds to begin with? I think about the betrayal. I think about the utter betrayal of Black women like Kim Foster. And so when I think about what has happened with this election, I would like to leave young men and Black men in general, but young men in particular, with a warning about, you know, even though Trump won, and to some degree their power is and their influence is going to be somewhat neutralized, they are going to try to trick you. They're gonna confuse you with racism, racism. Trump is the enemy. Trump is the Dark Lord Sauron. You know, Trump is Hitler. Anything to dissuade you from operating in your best interest. Going forward, now's the time for you to look at whatever happens. Whoever, JD Vance, Trump, or whatever, How can I find my cut? And that's going to probably mean you not listening to a whole lot of black women, especially black women like that, unfortunately. And you're gonna have to find your own place unique, and you're gonna have to hold your nose through some of the stuff you see and hear. And some of it's gonna sound racist, or it's gonna sound like something that you've been trained to perceive as being racist, when in actuality it's probably going to be in your best interest as a black man. But you're going to have to prepare yourself to deal with that kind of woman, those kind of women, because of the positions they hold. And you're going to have to discover or understand that they really are, they going forward, they're going to be your biggest enemy, because of how close they are to you and how closely they influence other things and other people who are close to you. Thanks again for having me, Toya. Hope you have a wonderful day.
To you black men who your fragile ego couldn't take a black woman in office, so you either voted for Trump or you didn't vote at all, the police will now have carte blanche for you right where the you stand. And when they do that, there's not going to be no GoFundMes. Don't ask your family to ask us for just die. They can't afford to bury you. Dig a hole in their backyard. It is what the it is. But don't expect sympathy. Don't expect protest in the streets. We're not doing that. Black women, we're done with. We're done. We did our due diligence for this century and the next. We've done enough. We're not doing anymore.
It's hard to believe that some 3 decades ago, if you turned on BET, it would be at certain times just love song after love song after love song. Guys singing about how beautiful a woman's eyes are, or how he can't live without her, or how he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. And fast forward 3 decades, and after an election where some people disagreed on who to vote for, it has turned to a kind of ugliness that I don't think I've ever seen before. But more specifically, that look in the eyes that you see on some of the TikToks or some of the social media posts say something about something that the women that previously in decades past we would be singing love songs to are now kind of crashing out and raging out over the fact that someone had a different political opinion than they did. And it's an unfortunate reality of where we are today. I would just say in ending this video that it was that spark in the eye, that beauty, that softness, that tenderness that made guys write those love songs and have those harmonies. And when that kind of beautiful spark goes away, everyone loses. I'm not sure if there's a way to necessarily get the spark back. All I can say in this video is that it's very unfortunate that what we're seeing is that that spark has disappeared. And sooner or later, guys have to do it. We have to, because it is that spark that motivates us. And if that spark is found with a woman overseas, then that's what it's going to be for a growing number of young, outwardly thinking black men. Signs of a new time, I suppose. But thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.